Y'all love the plastic pots that we gave a high-end makeover to with just a little paint and a whole lot of imagination. So we're going to go a little further. We're going to take that same bright, beautiful painted style, and we're flipping 3 thrift store treasures that I found in my stash. And we're flipping them into beautiful statement pieces for the garden. Think outdoor solar lamp, a DIY fountain, and my favorite of all the makeovers, a whimsical teapot that hangs in the flower bed. All in the same bright, colorful painted style as the other transformations. Let me show you what I found and then walk you through all the transformation magic. Let's get started. First thing we're going to do is clean everything really well. I'm using a White Lightning, which is a TS-based product, and then you scrub and then rinse. So here is the plan for the lamp. It's going to be a solar light, and it's going to have stripes at the top, some butterflies on a yellow background, and some checks at the bottom. A little Mackenzie Childs inspired. The first thing we're going to do is take this lamp apart. We'll try to get all the electrical out of it because we don't need any of the cords. Now, each lamp is going to be a little bit different. This is just how mine was put together. Usually there's a long rod throughout the entire piece, but this one's actually in smaller sections. So I'm actually going to glue those sections back together so that it stays much more solid outside. Then we're going to give the entire thing a good coat of white paint to give it that base that we need. I found that stippling the paint on worked so much better and gave just a much clearer coat. Let's go ahead, let that paint dry, and then we can go ahead and add our color. We're going to start with the yellow in the center section and then all along the base as well. Next, we'll draw out the pattern for the checks in this section. So since this is a curved area, we're going to start with the downward sections first, and they'll be a little wider at the bottom than at the top, and then come back through and do each cross section one at a time so that you get them even all the way across. I'll go ahead and draw hand draw those stripes at the top as well, and you just really can't use a ruler in this bent curved section, so you got to freehand it. It's okay, just go with it, let it flow. Now I'm using an angled brush to do these checks, and I'm finding it much better than when I did the check on the planter. If you haven't watched that video, I'll put a link in the description below. But in that video, it took me some time to kind of get the checks square and not the lines nice and crisp and clean, where if I had used this angle brush, I think I would have done much better. We're using the color Cobalt Blue, and these are all Dixie Belle paint products. And the same with those stripes at the top. Now we'll add a little bit of peony pink as a little divider between each of the sections, and then all along the top as well. And another little ridge along the bottom. Like I said, everybody's lamp is a little bit different. You could have done this one solid color and it come out just as beautiful. I just wanted to have a little more fun with it. And now we'll paint on some butterflies. So just as I did the mural on that planter, we base in everything in white first so that the true colors come out that we put on top of it. Then we'll just add some peony and some blue butterflies as well, just kind of blending them in a little bit with some lighter colors, some a little bit of yellow and a little bit of flamingo to kind of give a little dimension to those butterfly wings. We're not going overly detailed on them though, just trying to, it's a butterfly. We don't need extreme detail on these whatsoever. Now for the fountain. I had this planter for a while and I had put the primer on it already. I didn't find another one to match, so this is going to be perfect for this particular project. We're going to take that punch bowl and turn it into a fountain. But the coloring, I wanted kind of a mottled look, but maybe with some deep color, maybe with some teal in there. And then, of course, I wanted to really highlight the texture. So that's what we're going to try to do by taking some golf paint and then pure ocean and the cobalt and kind of just stippling it in. And I'm really blending the colors on there. I just want to create the texture. And then I take some of that cobalt blue and just dry brush it over the top of all of that texture. It's almost there, but it's not quite. So they then take a little bit of navy blue paint. This is actually from the Up paint line. And I'm going to kind of give it a glazing look and then highlight that texture on the piece and give it some more depth to it. And to give it that glazing look at the top, I'm adding some water so you see some of that cobalt kind of popping through in certain areas, but it's got just this deep, rich color to it. I know this bold color works great with my color scheme, but what color would you do? What would look great on your patio? Let me know in the comments below. We're going to continue that process all the way around the entire pot, just dry brushing those high points and then adding a watered down color at the top. It gave that richness and texture that I was looking for. We want this to look like a glazed terracotta pot, so I'm painting terracotta color on the inside. Then we'll go ahead and we'll start that teapot. So here's the plan. It is going to be a peony pink at the bottom, blended into a flamingo, like corally color, and then a light coral at the top with some roses painted around the larger section of the teapot. But first, we have to put 2 coats of a bonding primer on this piece. This was a silver plated teapot that, after years and years of being polished, the silver has come off. So it's okay to go ahead and pick those pieces up and give them some bonding primer so that you can turn them into something really beautiful. So I'm using flamingo it's the color flamingo from Dixie Belle Paint to add that corally color in the middle section. Have you ever repurposed any items, not what they were intended to be used for originally? I know my grandmother, who grew up during the Depression, was repurposing well before it was popular. She would use all kinds of things for storage, things that were definitely not their intended purpose from the beginning, whether it was an old sour cream container or it was a cigar box or whatnot. Oh, the cookie tins, always using those cookie tins for some sort of storage. So she was always repurposing, like I said, well before. Did that happen in your family too? Now at the bottom, we're going to add peony pink. We added some white to the top so that it goes lighter and blends in with the coral. And now we'll add that peony at the bottom. I'm making sure that I have a damp brush so that the paint glides on nice and smooth. We don't have lots of brush strokes and texture. It wouldn't necessarily completely matter, but it does to me. I like a nice smooth surface. I then take a dry brush, one that does not have any paint on it, And I do a horizontal brush strokes first. I'm sorry, vertical brush strokes first and then horizontal to blend those two colors together. These small pieces like this are a great way to practice your blending. And then we're just going to finish it all off with some more peony at the base and then bringing it up also up that spout so that the color blends all the way up the spout as well. Now I added daisy, sorry, to the handle, and we'll start the greenery and the wildflowers that we're going to paint on there. I was going to do roses originally, but then changed my mind and decided that it would be best to do some wildflowers since the flowers that are in my garden, I have zinnias planted out there and a few other things. So I thought that the wildflowers just would fit a little bit better and would be a little bit easier as well. So I'm just adding some grasses and leaves, that sort of thing that would be in a wildflower garden. And I'm taking some water to kind of blend out the bottom so it just blends in with the background. Taking a little fine brush to create just some other little leafy plants that would be out there, some other greenery. It's just a different color green, a little lighter green. I think I have kudzu and English garden. Is that the color? Anyhow, it's just a couple different color greens from Dixie Belle Paint. Now I'll take a little bit of white and the peony color and just creating a light pink to add sort of a lavender shaped flower, just kind of a stocky kind of tiny cluster of flowers. And then a little bit of white to highlight a little bit of that so that it pops up off of that green background a little bit. Then we'll combine the peony and some cobalt to create a purple and paint in some little daisy like zinnia shaped flowers. In hindsight, I went over it with a little bit of light purple, trying to add some highlights and texture, but it's so tiny. I was going overboard with detail. In hindsight, I really should have kept it just the darker purple and let that kind of pop a little bit. But anyhow, we fixed it. We just added a little more of the dark and moved on about about the way. Now we'll just go ahead and add a little bit of yellow, little daisy to the center of these flowers. When I did the second coat of blending on the teapot, I did add a little bit of the daisy into the center there. So that's why you kind of see that glow. Because I thought it would be like a nice little like sunrise glow that would be coming up out of the wildflowers. We'll take that daisy and create a few little daisy like flowers on the other side. Daisy is the yellow color that I'm using. I'm realizing that the less detail that I put in, the better this is actually looking. So now I'm taking a little bit of pure ocean and creating just some little dancing flowers around, and then taking the white, just kind of dry brushing it on and stippling it on to create kind of a, I think it's called Queen Anne's lace. It's a really pretty wildflower that grows in little wildflower gardens. And I realized it needed just a little bit more pink or a little bit more color. So I'm adding some of that peony down at the bottom to kind of create like gladiolas or something of that nature. Um, Hollyhock, I guess, type flower, and a little peony in the center of those daisies. And my supervisor is always here to make sure that I'm doing everything correctly. I think it come out so cute. I did add a couple little butterflies, and now we're adding the Dixie Belle Gator Hide, which is a water repellent sealer. We're going to be putting on 4 coats of this. 4 thin, even coats is what we want to do. Since this will be going outside, we need that extra protection. After the sealer has dried, I go ahead and put on the solar light and then add some crystals. I had some chandelier crystals that I picked up at a thrift store, and I glued them on with some E6000 glue and then just taped it in place and let it dry about a good 12 hours before I put it outside. Then we went to the fountain. We had to fill up that vast space. So I have a sand pail in there for the punch bowl to sit on, but I needed to fill in the other areas. So I had some cups and some bags and some whatever. It wasn't working. It wasn't enough. So I got out some foam, spray foam insulation, put that at the bottom, added my cups and whatnot in there, and it still wasn't enough. So you'll see what I do in just a second. Like I said, I added cups, some pieces of foam, pool noodle that I got at the Dollar Tree, and then a thinner pool noodle that I got at the Dollar Tree, and added the plastic bag, the black plastic bag on top, and put on the Black River rock stones. And you'll see I would need probably 100 bags of stones to fill in that space. And a lot of them fell to the bottom, so that wasn't going to work. But I did add some blue pebbles to the top. And what I thought I would do is leave that foam in there and then just fill in all the cracks and crevices with some more of that spray foam. I think I used 4 cans in total for this project. I have all the products linked in the description. After we cut it with a knife to get it nice and flat, then put the black garbage bag on again, put the punch bowl on, and now we can add those Black River rocks, and it fills in quite nicely. Then cut off any of that excess garbage bag that was left. Put the punch bowl in place and filled it with water. I had a little help today, but you'll hear some noises in the background. Now we just go ahead and add the fountain, and that's it. Let the sun do the rest. Could be such an easy project. I probably made it a little more difficult. But what do you think? 3 beautiful thrift flips that add character and whimsy to my sunny patio. And best of all, 0 guilt with the amount that I spent. Which project was your favorite? Drop a comment below and let me know. Better yet, tell me what project you're working on. Just listen to that right there. I absolutely love the pop of color that these bring to my garden. I'm just thinking about when all of the flowers are gone and now, but there's still some color added to this landscape. And the teapot. I mean, could you get any more whimsical? It's just so sweet. Well, we overcame a couple obstacles, but I think in the end, they came out absolutely beautiful. I wouldn't change not a single thing. The fountain is absolutely wonderful as I'm sitting outside in the early mornings. The sun hits it just a little bit and I can hear that soft trickling water. It's just so peaceful sitting out here. And every once in a while you hear a rooster or 2. So it's just gorgeous out here in the morning. And then the lamp lights the path up to our steps so nicely. as well as that whimsical teapot. I mean, y'all, it is so stinking cute. And when the flowers are in full bloom, I still have that little pop of color that's hanging over that flower bed. And I just love it. It's just so stinking cute. What do you think? Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you've enjoyed that video and want to see more, because we're going back inside to my office because it's too stinking hot outside right now. This piece is going to make a huge difference in my office space. I hope you all have a very blessed day. I will see y'all in the next one.